Hello friends, and welcome to another edition of Digging Disciples. I am John Grigsby. It's Thanksgiving week. I hope you're as excited about Thanksgiving as I am. I love Thanksgiving. I love all the festivities and things that go along with it. And usually the day after Thanksgiving, I get to the woods somehow. It's a day for me to unload, rewind, let loose, get back to nature. I so look forward to the day after Thanksgiving because I don't work, number one, and number two, I'm really just out in the woods somewhere doing what I love to do. This week in our Sunday school lesson, we read from Matthew chapter 14. This is the account of where John the Baptist was beheaded. Now, John the Baptist was a forerunner to Jesus. His job was merely to come and tell people to prepare the way for the Lord. Prepare the way for the coming of the Messiah. But John was a little bit of a rebel. He didn't care to tell those in power that they were doing wrong. Now, John had told Herod and his family that they were sinning and they needed to repent from it. And they didn't like that. They didn't like that. So they found a way to have John the Baptist's head brought to Herod on a platter. And the news is reported to Jesus after this that when Jesus heard this, he withdrew by a boat to a remote place to be alone. And as I was reading that this week, there's two things that came to mind that really impressed upon me. The first is, just because we follow Jesus does not mean that all of our troubles will go away, or that we will not have troubles in our life. Probably just the opposite. We will have troubles because the devil is trying his best to distract us. And so we learn real quickly that even John the Baptist, who was somebody that Jesus said was the best person that he would recommend on this earth, John the Baptist was even killed for being a Christian, for being a follower of Jesus. So, is it any different from us? No. Will we be beheaded? Well, I hope not. But the point being is that we will have troubled times in our life. We will. That's just a fact of life. And just because you're close to Jesus doesn't mean that they're going to overlook you. The second point from this is that when Jesus got this bad news, of course, Jesus, being God, knew this was going to happen. And when he found out that this had happened, what did he do? He withdrew to a quiet place, a remote place, to be alone and to pray. And the lesson for us in that is that when we have troubles, is that we should withdraw. And not to just withdraw to ourselves, but to withdraw and be with God. Now, if you get advice from your mama, your daddy, your friends, or your neighbor, your aunt, uncle, those are okay. But the best advice that you will ever get, and the only way to be comforted, truly be comforted, is to get along with God. And I know that God will provide that comfort, strength, and truth that we need. And right after that, I want you to notice something else. This reminds me of Thanksgiving today. After he was alone with God, after he was consoled by God, by the Father, Jesus said, when the crowds heard this, they followed him on foot to the towns, and as he stepped ashore, he saw a huge crowd and felt compassion for them and healed their sick. So just after Jesus had spent alone time with God, precious time with God, he was just inundated with people. And I'm thinking for myself, I'm getting ready to prepare for Thanksgiving this week. There's going to be a lot of people that I'm going to be around from two different families. And so I need to get myself calibrated. I need to get myself right with God before I get into those families, because it will be busy, it will be hectic and chaotic, but fun, busy, talking, there's so much things, eating. But first I need to prepare myself by getting along with God And more importantly, you know, it's Thanksgiving. When we say, boy, I give thanks for all the blessings I have in life, who are you giving thanks to? Who do you give that thanks to? Is it give thanks to your employer, or give thanks to Walmart, or you give thanks to your neighbor? Well, truly, there's nothing wrong with giving thanks to your neighbor, or to your family, or to your friends, or to your employer. That's all well and good. It truly is. But when we think about giving thanks, the real thanks should be to God, because He has supplied everything that we have. Everything that we know comes from God. So this year, as you prepare for your Thanksgiving, do give thanks to your family and your friends when you're around them. Thank them for the good times. Thank them for the bad times. Thank them for just being family. But also be sure that you recognize we're all blessings. Everything comes from is from God. And really thank Him for everything we have in our lives. This week in my garden was a truly satisfying experience for a gardener. This is the compost pile that I'm working on, still in the process. And this was the pile that was finished. Now it's a good 6 inches full of leaves, being prepared for the next compost pile that I'll start. So what did I do with that compost? I put some places an inch or two of compost on my beds, and here where the tomatoes are at, I've left them exposed just for an experiment. But over here, I put that inch or two of compost, then covered it with leaves. I mulched up my leaves. So this spring, when I'm getting ready to plant in these beds, I should just be able to rake back the leaves that have not decomposed yet and plant directly into the dirt. Woo! Satisfying, so satisfying to put out compost that you worked on for, well, I guess about 6 months. All my beds are cleared out. I put compost and the leaves in those beds, cleaned them all out. Now I am ready for spring to arrive. Got a long ways to wait, don't I? Thanks for watching this episode of Digging Disciples. If you like it, please hit like or subscribe here on the channel to receive more of our updates. And I really, truly hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. Spend time with family. Food is great, yes, but spending time is really where the quality is at. Remembering old times, looking forward to new. Blessings to you as you navigate the seasons of life.